Okay, so hi everyone. We're going to start. So my name is Khady Ndoye, or La Polyglot. I'm a blogger, so I do blog about African languages and French and English. I do live in Toronto, so not that far from here. And so today we'll present to you a subject about the influence of the Arabic language on African languages. So the languages that I will talk today would be Fulani, Kiswahili, and Wolof. This is the content for today. So we'll give you like quick facts about the Arabic language, then the Arabic influence in the Fulani language, then in the Wolof language, in the Swahili language, and we go to the conclusion because we only have an hour today, so we have less than an hour, so it's not a lot of time to talk about this topic. So my first question before to start my presentation, how many of you has learned Arabic? Just raise your hand. Oh, nice. How many of you are planning to learn Arabic? Okay, good. Great. How many of you has already learned any African languages? Nice. But French is not an African language. But a good attempt, not good. So here are the 10 facts about the Arabic languages. The first one is that Arabic, basically, don't follow the title, is not a writing system in the sense that the scripts, they're using an abjad, which means that the letters stand with consonants and not vowels. The second fact is like Arabic is spoken in Europe, and the fact that the Malt is a dialect of Arabic. Third fact is like Arabic and Hebrew have a lot of common. Of course, it's like Arabic and Hebrew are both semantic languages, and they belong to the Central Semantic Language Group. Fact number 4 is like Arabic is one of the 5 most spoken language in the world. So the first one obviously is Mandarin with more than 1.3 billion speakers. Then we have Hindi and Urdu with 970 million speakers. Number 3 is Spanish, 330 million. Then English, number 4, and following by Arabic. They're really, really close together. Fact number 5 is that it will take you at least 2 years to learn the language. So according to the Foreign Service Institute of the US Department of State, in a study did in 2015, Arabic is one of the most difficult language to learn. It will take you at least 1.5 years or 88 weeks to learn Arabic with more than 2,200 class hours. So the question here is, how many of you have reached this point, or do you think are you okay with that? With people who have studied?
I think it can be less.
Can be less?
Yeah, I speak and read proficiently.
Okay.
I have about 600 hours of classroom.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's statistics probably for you in English. For people who speak only one language.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody's from Texas or somewhere like that, only speaks one language, probably, so it's way harder.
Great. I do understand. Number 6 is that there are 7 varieties of group of Arabic. So the first group is the Maghrebian group, which includes Moroccan Arabic, Tunisian Arabic, Algerian Arabic, and Libyan Arabic. Then we have a second group as the Sudanese Arabic group, which includes the Sudanese Arabic and the Chadian Arabic. We also have the Egyptian group, which include Egyptian Arabic and Sahadi Arabic. We also have the Arabian Peninsula group, which also include the Yemen Arabic and the Gulf Arabic. We also have the Mesopotamian groups, which also include the Mesopotamian Arabic. The Levantine group, which include the Lebanese, which is the most popular, the Jordanian, the Palestinian Arabic, and the Bedouin Arabic. And also in part of Spain, in Andalusia, we also speak a dialect of Arabic due to the history when the Arabs conquer Spain. Fact number 7 is that Arabic is not an African language. Most of the people that I've talked to, when I ask them, oh, have you ever learned any African languages? They say, yeah, I have learned Arabic. Yes, it's present in the African continent, but it is not an African Arabic because its origin comes from the Arabian Peninsula. Fact number 8 is that Arabic numerals are written system left to right. Arabic basically, they write it from right to left, except for numbers. So all the numbers are written from left to right. Fact number 9 is like Arabic is the language of Muslim people. So you have to know that the Holy Quran is written in Arabic, which is obviously the language of where we should communicate and how Muslims do their prayers. But the Arabic language was prior to the book. And fact number 10 is that Arabic has contributed to many words to the English language. So for example, here we have cotton, sukar, alcohol, lemon, gazelle, and also guitar. So I just mentioned them. So now let's move to the first language, which is Fulani. First question here, have you ever heard about Fula, Fulani, Peul? Can you raise your hand? Okay, good. So you have to know that the Fulani language, or the Peul, or Fula, is a Senebian language. So do you know the map of Africa? It's the west part of Africa, part of the Atlantic languages. And it's present also into the Niger-Congo region. And also spoken in many countries, which are Nigeria, Guinea, Cameroon, Senegal, Gambia, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Sudan, Chad, and Mauritania. They have approximately 25 million speakers. And the Fulani people are the biggest nomadic groups in the world. So basically, Fula, the ethnic of Fula people, they are nomadic people who come from the east to the west of Africa. Other thing about the Fula language is that the origin, so some people say the origin of the language come from Arabic. And they're also characterized by their lighter skin and their straighter hair. It's the first group of people in the West, in Africa, to convert to Islam. So basically, they were the first ethnic group to convert the people to Islam in Africa. They are also as missionaries of the religion to conquer the West Africa. Here's some kind of words which are similar. So I did a little bit like a time the table to explain to you basically some words which related between Arabic, Fula, and English. So we can see here, for example, Asaman, which in Fula would be Asamu, which means sky. So have kind of the same root. Malaika, which also means Moluku, angel. Khalifa, which is the same thing also in Fulani, which means successor. And a day of the week, which is very important, is Al-Jum'ah, which is Juma is Friday. So a lot of words in the Fulani language come or related to the religion. Now let's move to another language, which is Wolof, which is the same also family. So Wolof is also a Senebian branch of the Niger-Congo languages, and is also the first system that Wolof people used was an Arabic script named Wolofa, and then the language get standardized in 1974, just after the French left the country, because we were colonized by French. So we adapt the French alphabet, or the Romance alphabet. Most of the Wolof people are located in West Africa, in countries like Senegal, Gambia, but also we have a lot of small part in Mauritania. And also due to the urbanization, and a lot of them have moved to other countries such as Côte d'Ivoire and Mali. So you also have to know that because due to the French colonization in Senegal, a lot of language also, we have a lot of words comes to the French language. Also because we also have this influence of Islam, that's why a lot of words also in Wolof come from Arabic. But when I say Arabic, is the MSA, the Al-Fusha. And Wolof people are known also, they really take care of their parents and clothing, and it's really important for them to have good clothing, something that is suitable, because it also ranks you in the society. So here we have also words related in Arabic, Wolof, and English, and you will see also that most of the words in Wolof comes from, which related to Arabic, or also related to the religion or to the calendar. Because basically we have two systems of calendar. We have the lunar calendar and the actual calendar that a lot of people are using. So the example here is like Jannah, which means paradise, and we have the same word in Wolof where you say Jannah. In Wolof, all the days of the weeks come from the Arabic. So here, for example, Talata in Wolof, or Talata, Tuesday. So all except Saturday and Sunday, all the vocabulary for the days of the week in Wolof come from Arabic. Also, because the vocabulary is also related to the religion, I give you also the opposite of paradise or hellfire, which is Jahannam. That is same in Arabic and in Wolof, which means hellfire. And also another day of the week here, Al-Hamis. So basically all the KH, which is ha, we replace it by the X, with the same sound of it. So to make it a bit clear for you, Fula and Wolof have the same amount of words in Arabic coming from the religion or the calendar. So, Swahili. So Swahili is one of the most popular language in Africa. How many of you has studied Swahili? Good. How many of you has heard any Swahili? Okay, I'm sure that everyone here knows like Hakuna Matata from the right? That's Swahili too. So Swahili is a Bantu languages. So the previous two languages were Niger-Congo languages. Swahili is a Bantu language, and is the lingua franca of the region of the Great Lakes, which include Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, and Congo. Do you know where it's located a little bit? So it would be most of it in East Africa and the South. Yes. And another fact about the Swahili language is like it's the second most spoken language after Arabic, and with 150 million speakers. So how Arabic, the language, comes to the country? So basically, it was during the era when Arabic people were doing a lot of sales, and they were sailor, and also they were selling products to East Africa. And how the language mainly was introduced, and they got settled. So basically, the main port where they arrived it was through Zanzibar, and then the language got mixed with the local, and they created the Swahili. Even the name of the language, Swahili, comes from, or Kiswahili, from the Arabic, which is the language of the coast. Now let's see terms derived from Arabic. So you have to know that the percentage of Arabic words in Swahili is much higher than Fula or Wolof. They are approximately between 15 to 20% of the language come from Arabic. So here, kind of a few examples. Here, for example, a book in Swahili is say kitabu. In Arabic, you say kitab. Another example is to travel, is safari, and in Arabic is safar. And we also have dictionary, which is kasumi and kamus. Kamusi, sorry, and kamus. So if you see a little bit, in Swahili, we have a lot of like vowels in the end, so either you or I. And basically, to conclude about this short presentation about the relation between Fula, Wolof, and Swahili, is that mean that all roads leads to Arabic, in the sense that a lot of people think that if I learn or if I study one language or one African language, it would be kind of useless because I would only use it for that particular language. But you have to know that a lot of African languages have roots in common. And so learning African languages can be an asset for those who want to learn Arabic and vice versa. Well, thank you so much. And if you want the presentation, feel free to send me an email. And on my blog too, every month, so I will talk about a different African language. So feel free to pop up and ask me a question. Thank you so much for listening. Questions? Yes.
I'm a little curious about your own origins. What is your native language, or which of these African languages do you speak best? Or tell us a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
Yes. So I was born near Paris from Senegalese parents. So I grew up in a Wolof, an African environment, since I think age 0 to 14. Then, because a lot of my family probably live in Gambia, where some of my relatives speak Wolof, but sometimes they don't have the same language, because when I was a kid, I wasn't able to speak Fulani, so I was only speak Wolof. So the language of communication was English. But my background basically is like, I always say that I'm French and Senegalese, because I grew up in those two cultures. Question? Yeah.
How similar are these languages in their grammar structure?
Okay, so I will take the example. Fula and Wolof are really similar in the fact that they're from the same family. And basically, a lot of African languages, how they works is like they're putting like suffixes at the end of an object. So for example, if I give you an example of the Wolof language, translated to English, I will say, for example, I don't have, right? You would basically distinguish I, don't, like the negation, and then the verb. In Wolof and also Fula and Swahili, you will put the verb first, and then the negation at the end. Yeah.
So it's instead of a subject, verb, object, it's verb, subject, and object.
Yes, most of the time.
It's closely similar to Arabic, pretty much.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm reading here from your note that Swahili is spoken in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, and Congo. Do they have the same written system in all 5 of these countries, or are there like regional differences? And also, what is their official status? Are they like co-official with other languages, or are they more official, or I'm curious about the political aspects?
Okay, so Swahili is official in Zanzibar, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. For Congo, for example, is not the official language. The official language is obviously French and I would say Tamil part Lingala. Same thing for the Burundi, which is not, but they have a large portion of the population who speak those languages, the Swahili. And what was the first question?
I just find sometimes the legal, political aspect of the language to be very, very interesting. For example, in Uganda, where you know a lot of people speak English as well, what role would Swahili have? Is it like a second or third language, or for some people it's a first language, or is it a lingua franca between various people?
It's a lingua franca for those countries that I have mentioned, but Swahili have a legal status on the stream countries that I mentioned, like Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. You have to know that the political aspect is like when those kids go to school, they have to learn English. So English is the lingua franca, the non-African lingua franca language. But now more and more people are willing to create more resources on those languages. So for example, a couple weeks ago, I was in the Silicon Valley and I met a lot of Kenyans, Ugandans who were saying that they want more resources and they are building more resources in Swahili to spread also the language to the second and third generation who are not as exposed as the first generation.
You had mentioned that in Wolof, a version of the Arabic script had been used to write it in the past. Is it still used ever?
No. So basically, before the French arrived to Senegal, and where there were like much more Arab settlements, we used this Wolof system, which is similar, a similar script to Arabic, but some pronunciation are different. And when the French arrived, they really standardized to use the Romance alphabet. And now, for example, my generation, I've never learned Wolof with the Wolofal system. So I was not even exposed to it, to tell you. So it's only recently when I started to learn Arabic that I was aware of that whoa. So before Romance language, we had Arab script languages. So I was like, okay, really interesting. The same thing with Swahili. Swahili also was an Arabic script before, and it changed to Romance languages. And it's really, when you talk about it, is a lot of people like get tensions because for some of them, they're still using the Arab script to learn Swahili, but the government want them to use like more the Romance languages. So it's also a political issue on that. Yes.
I'm just wondering how easy or how difficult is it to find materials to learn these languages? Because a lot of these languages are not very commonly studied, and so it seems like, you know, if you wanted to learn Wolof, for example, like it might be hard to find enough materials to really get to an advanced level without just like going and living in the country, for example. So
Yes. And thank you for asking this question, because I think it is one of one of the crucial topic is how to find the resources to learn the language, and is also kind of comical to say it in sites that when you see the dynamic. For example, if you want to learn Wolof today, and you are an English speaker, you will find obviously more resources in French than in English. If you want to learn Swahili, you will find more resources in English than French. If you want to learn Fula, the same thing, you will find more resources in French than in English. If you want to learn Creole, a language like in Capo Verde, you will find more resources in Portuguese. So there are resources online to learn African languages. They are more rare than, I will say, common languages, or more famous languages such as Mandarin, Spanish, Italian, because it's also, first of all, those languages are not, most of them, they are lingua franca, but Fulani and Wolof, they're not in Senegal an official language. The official language of most African languages are Indo-European languages. So as you have to find a combination to learn a language. So for example, I tell to my students, if they want to learn any African languages, they have to know what is the official language of the country to find resources in the language. So Wolof Fulani will be French, resources in French, and Swahili, for example, will be also in English. And for me, myself, when I started to learn those languages, one of the first websites that I went was Omniglot. And it had a lot of resources, and I was really shocked about it, because I was like, oh my God, it's one of the first websites which is also interested on languages. So I was like, it's a great resource, and they give you like really simple, short information about the language that you can get interested, and then find other resources. So it's just a fact of finding the new strategy to get the information.
What do you think is the future for a lot of, well, anyone in particular is fine, but a lot of these African languages, just in the sense of it, a lot of the schooling is happening for them in either English or French, right?
Uh-huh.
So in terms of that, are any of their like more native like African languages in decline in any way, or seen in a less ideal light in any way, because you can't pursue higher education in Wolof, for example?
As I think it's changing a lot. I think that my generation and also the diaspora is aware of that, and so we're trying and we're doing our best to bring back African languages into the educational system. But as an interesting battle, because it's also difficult. It requires a lot of time, and also money, and also like political fact. So I would say, if we're talking about nowadays, you still have great university, even within Africa, where you can specifically study the language. But if you want to go to more rare African languages is much more difficult because some of the languages are only spoken in some villages. So for example, if I take the case of Nigeria, there are more than 500 languages and dialects. And most of them, the most common one, Hausa and Yoruba, you can find resources and you could also go to school to learn them. But for other specific languages where they have a small amount of people who speak the language, it's definitely harder to do it.
In terms of like the psychology of a lot of the people, is there any sentiment by people that that they're in terms of like prestige? Oh, my language isn't that good. I can't do anything with mine, or something like that. Or do they feel like strong pride for their language?
Well, it depends. If I take my case, for example, I was ashamed to speak my language because when I grew up in France, I didn't have this environment where I was able to speak out and speak the language outside of my family. So when people asked me, oh, how many languages do you speak? I was like, French, English, and Spanish. Oh, okay, cool. And what about your native language? Well, no, it's not a language. It's just like kind of a dialect. But some other people are really proud of it. So if I take people, some of my friends from Congo, from Lingala, where they have also a larger population, and they were able to speak the language outside their family, they were saying, yeah, Lingala is my language, so I do speak this language. So it depends on where you grew up and what is your environment. A question? No? So basically, before to stop, my goal here is not to force you and say, oh, you have to learn African languages and blah, blah, blah. No, it's just for you to be more aware that, okay, it's important. We have a lot of languages here, like we speak French, Spanish, Mandarin, but also that if I can give you this inspiration for you to only even like do research on African languages and to be more like curious about it, it would be great. And also that everything is connected. It's just not one African languages. You can learn one and be connected to another one. So yeah. Thank you so much.